Good evening, everybody. I always have to wait until that light comes on. My name is Rita Crompton. I am the Inventor Lady. And 2 weeks ago, I had an experience I had not had in decades. And it prompted me to think about, what some of you see when you think about taking that first step into inventing. We were driving across Wyoming, and we needed to get to our destination on Sunday. But all the rest westbound roads were closed and traffic was down to nothing. And it was scary. It was dark and the wind was blowing and you couldn't see the road. And when they first said, oh, all the roads are closed, it's like, it's not even snowing. What's the big deal? All right. Well, you know what? A little bit further west, it was snowing and the roads were closed and it was scary and it was hard to see and there was nobody else out there. And I'm thinking, you know what? A lot of inventors probably experience the same thing where, you know what? It's scary when you think about taking that first step. Are you going to, pull the trigger and start going down a road where you don't know where the turns are and everybody's saying, oh, do it this way. And then they want money and do it that way. And you really don't know what is the right way. When you're lost in a snowstorm, things are flying at you and you really don't know which turn to make. And in going down that inventing road, it's not that different. All right. Well, Inventor Lady, we are here to help you. And I know it's named Inventor Lady. That's my brand, but there's a lot more than just me out there working with inventors. And one of our talks, I think early next week, is really about kind of the lay of the land and who are all the people that are here doing the work. I think it's important for you to know that it's more than just me on the team. And when you are on our team, we are there to shine a bright light and tell you where the turns are and say, this is what you expect. This is the next step. This is what we're going to do. And when you're using Archimedes Offspring, all right, and the funding mechanism is there. Now you have the mentorship, right, and the funding involved. So you really now, that snowstorm, the skies start to clear and the blue sky comes out because you know what steps to take. We are there to say, oh, let's do it this way. Here's the next step. Do you know a good attorney you want to use? If you do, that is great. I'm going to ask, are they registered? Have they done more than one patent? Is this, your neighbor's nephew who just wants to practice on you? Those are big no's. All right. We're not going to do it that way. But hey, you know what? A lot of inventors, they've used other really good registered patent attorneys. I don't care who you use, all right, as long as they meet the criteria, all right? And especially when it comes to the funding on the AOS side, all right? We want to know that you're using legitimate, good service providers, and we're going to check on that because we want to protect you, and that's the big thing, all right? We want to make sure that, when you get an invoice, you can say, oh, yeah, they told me it was going to be this much. I'm really big on that. I want to know what it's going to cost. And I'm going to tell you, you get to know what to expect. And the attorney should say, it's going to be about this many hours. And then it should be about that many hours. Give or take, 60 minutes or so is within the margin of error. 10, no, it's not. All right. They don't get to charge you for every darn phone call and email. That's got to be estimated into what it takes to get you to patent pending, right? The attorneys I know how I like to work. The attorney may not, so you ask. It's that simple. You ask, and if they say, okay, it should be about this many hours, then you know what to expect. And ask them, are you going to charge me for every phone call and email? Am I going to get an unexpected invoice? And if they say yes, you need a different attorney, right? Probably at some point we'll need an accountant, but not necessarily sooner rather than later, all right? Because on the sooner part of it, you don't have anything yet, but there may be questions that you need to ask. Out of my bandwidth, but I can tell you now, this is a question you need to ask somebody who knows the rules, all right? And I'll point you into the right direction. So engineers, design, that's a big one. Rapid prototype has helped a lot of people get less expensive prototypes, at least those first ones. It's tough when that first prototype is 10 grand. All right. And then you realize the mold is off by 1/2 inch. That really stinks. But you know what? If you're working with Inventor Lady and AOS, we're going to say, are there any industry regulations that we need to be aware of? Are there any measurements that we need to be aware of? Any types of materials that could disqualify you? Is all the shelf space owned by one company? Believe it or not, it happens that way. So we want to know barriers to entry. You would never even have thought to ask those questions, not unless you've been doing this for a while. So it's our job to protect you. It's our job to keep the bright lights on, all right, to know where the turns are in the road. And even if it gets a little bit stormy, to say, it's okay, we've got this, right? Our job here at Inventor Lady and at Archimedes Offspring. Archimedes Offspring, if you don't know yet, is the funding mechanism. So not all inventors have got a ton of money. I get it. I don't have a ton of money either. We're frugal here. I want you to be frugal too. We're frugal with the money the investors put in, right? That's our job. And we're pretty darn good at it. So we are looking to protect you. Bright lights, know the path, make sure that you know which direction you're going. We want to help you to know where you're going to end up. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, when you've got a map and you look at something, it doesn't really matter what the weather is. You know where you want to end up, get to. Well, holy cow. All right, Inventor Lady and AOS, we are your GPS. We're going to make sure that you know what the road looks like, where are the safe turnoffs, who do you need to be your service provider, what is the next step, what is our end destination. Imagine that. We know where you're going. All right. And we're going to hold you accountable just like we hold the service providers accountable. And we are not going to charge you anything up front. That mentorship part of it is part of the package. No consulting fees. None. Gee, isn't that a new and novel idea? My name is Rita Crompton. I'm the Inventor Lady.